As far as me and Jimmy goes, we're just some lucky man.
I always felt that I had to work harder than the next guy just to do as well as the next guy. And to do better than the next guy, I had to just kill.
Hi, everyone. It's Jack Rico, and thanks for listening to episode 40 of the Highly Relevant Podcast. That was Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine from the HBO documentary, The Defiant Ones, which aired this week. If you haven't seen it, man, you are missing out on a masterclass on creativity and determination from two of the most successful people in the music business. And before I tell you about the great show we have on tap for you today, I had a chance to see all 4 hours of this documentary, and here are the 4 major takeaways that I took from it. 1. An absurd work ethic. Bruce Springsteen and Bono from U2 took Jimmy Iovine to his physical limits, and that's where he learned that to truly be successful, you have to live your job or project. You can't half-ass it. Number 2, believing in your work. Dr. Dre experienced unanimous rejection for his album The Chronic, but he knew he had something special, and after knocking on dozens of doors, that's when he met Jimmy Iovine, and the rest is music history. Number 3, gut feeling. Dr. Dre and Jimmy always had taste and a nose for talent. Just ask Dre about Eminem and how he discovered him. He knew that this dude was going to be amazing. They listened to their gut, and it brought them to the promised land. And finally, number 4, pure luck. This is what you heard Dre say at the beginning of the podcast. Listen, without luck, you will see results with the aforementioned factors. But with luck, you're going to go supernova. I hope you find these tips useful, and in the meantime, we have a solid show for you today. We start with Wilson Morales. He's the editor-in-chief of blackfilm.com, and he's here to discuss the best movies of 2017 so far. Did Wonder Woman make the cut? Then we talk War for the Planet of the Apes. I sat down with American-Honduran actor Gabriel Chavarria, who plays the preacher in the film, to talk about his emotional reaction of being cast in the film, the time he quit acting, what it means to be an American Latino, and where does this guy get his confidence when dealing with rejection? And finally, it's been a crazy week in sports. We had Major League Baseball's Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game, the ESPY'S, the Gold Cup, and rumors about the Knicks Puerto Rican star Carmelo Anthony. He's supposedly being traded to the Houston Rockets. ESPN's Cristian Moreno recaps everything you need to know about what's been going on in sports this week. We'll talk about that and a lot more. So keep your headphones on. This is the Highly Relevant Podcast. What I'm about to do. So we're more than halfway through the year, and movies overall have been very mediocre at best, but there are some gems that are worth watching. So to help me discuss the top 5 movies of 2017 so far, I welcome in Wilson Morales, editor-in-chief of blackfilm.com. Wilson, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, not much. All is good so far.
Yo, dude, you are one of the most committed film critics I know, man. Where do you unearth this amount of devotion to film?
I don't know. I think I've been watching films since I grew up, you know, and all films bring something new to the table. That's the joy of watching movies, you know, and getting a different taste of what you're seeing based on the genre, the actors, the story, you know, so everything is something new.
Now, your main focus is the African American industry, mostly in film and television.
You know, we capture or we watch every film out there, but there'll be more emphasis on promoting the talent in front and behind the screen, you know, of those who are Black, African American, and so forth. Now,
your last name is Morales. I want to say
yes.
Wilson Morales. That's what I want to say. But dude, you're not Latino, are you?
I am Latino 100%, but somewhere deep, probably my background is Afro-Latino.
Okay, so wait, mom and dad are Latino. Where are they from?
Both my parents are from Honduras.
So you're Honduran?
Yes.
Wilson, you never told me this. This is like a new discovery. I feel like I just discovered America.
I think you didn't ask the right questions.
So you're Honduran.
Well, I was born here, so I'm an American technically, but my parents are
American-Honduran, right? Just
yes.
like my boy Gabriel Chavarria, which is in War for the Planet of the Apes. He was in Low Riders too. He's from his parents are from Honduras. Okay. But you like to focus specifically on the African American industry, and I've told you many times, why haven't we united like the Avengers and done Latino and African American and cover them both together? Like, why don't you cover Latinos if you're a Latino yourself? Yeah, but you barely do it, man. You're like 99% African American.
Well, the funny thing is, you said it yourself. You know, your opinion is that you don't think there's enough Latino people out there.
It's true.
As a you know, think about it. And granted, you know, when you look at it nowadays, you have more shows on. You have a good amount of TV shows that feature predominantly black cast. You know, whether it's
everything that's a big hit right now revolves around the African American community. I mean, that is the biggest talent, the biggest names that are minorities are mostly African American. Hispanics, Latinos, dude, they're really non-existent. There are no leads. There are no Latino leads anywhere. Name how many movies outside of Lowriders, right? Which was an indie, but a big movie, man. You don't see them. I mean, you got One Day at a Time on Netflix, and that it's gotten some good reviews, but nothing scale.
What about Jane the Virgin? The lead.
But, right. Well, Gina Rodriguez is an anomaly, to be quite honest with you. She's an outlier within our industry at the moment, and she is not the normal. And we have to normalize everything. And I was talking to this with Gabriel within this podcast about why don't we have, and I'll pose you the same question, Wilson. Why do you think we don't have an A-list Latino superstar in Hollywood right now?
Well, you've had it. They
Gina Rodriguez is not an A-list. Not yet.
Just like, well, granted, you know, we have Denzel, we have Will Smith. You know, at one point or another, you had Jennifer Lopez when she was doing movies consistently.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back to Javier Bardem, Penelope Cruz. You got Jennifer Lopez, but these people are part of an old guard now. They've already achieved the pinnacle of success. And as part of the new generation, there are no fresh faces. It's almost like Hollywood deliberately doesn't want to give Latino actors an opportunity to shine. Like, we saw Transformers, man, right? And you and I were in the same theater. You were sitting right in front of me, and we saw Isabel Moner. She was the Latina girl who's half Peruvian from the last Transformers movie, The Last Night. And dude, Michael Bay was trying to make her into the new Megan Fox. The amazing moments that he was capturing just for her, these operatic moments, was the arrival of the new superstar.
But what about Zoe Saldana?
Zoe Saldana, you know, I still want to think that Zoe is part of that old guard, but she's also not considered lead yet. In Avatar,
what?
No. Okay, the last movie she was a lead in was Colombiana.
What about Rosario Dawson?
Rosario Dawson's not a lead. Name a movie that she was the lead.
Here's a lead actor for you, Oscar Isaac.
Okay, Oscar Isaac, I'll give you that. But you know, the thing with Oscar Isaac is that he's going to win an Oscar in the next 3 to 5 years. I know it. And he's probably the only guy that can do that. The problem with Oscar is Oscar is mostly known as an indie guy. This is a guy that does one blockbuster film, and then he does like 4 or 5 indie films. The biggest movie he's ever done was The Force Awakens.
Okay, what about Edgar Ramirez?
You know, he's co-star, man. I mean, Hands of Stone, Gold with Matthew McConaughey. I'll give you that.
Wasn't he the lead in the
Gold
Point
with
Break
Matthew
spinoff? The Point Break spinoff.
but no one saw that movie. No one saw that movie. So he's not carrying movies. He's not making millions of dollars. You know, we go back to this again. Number 1 movie at the box office carried by a Latino. Jennifer Lopez did that with The Wedding Planner. You remember this. Mm-hmm. Javier Bardem can't carry a movie and make it a blockbuster film. Penelope Cruz can't do that. Salma Hayek came out with Beatrice at the Diner, but that's an indie film, and that was very controversial. I spoke to Miguel Arteta about that not so long ago, and everybody's up in arms. Like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? The ending? It's an indie film at the end of the day, dude. There are no blockbuster Latino actors, man.
What about that guy, Eugenio
Derbez. Are you seriously kidding me? A-list? A-list? Come on, a guy? You think Eugenio Derbez can work with Clooney, Brad Pitt, Damon?
Michelle Rodriguez.
No, now we're talking. Michelle Rodriguez should be an A-list. An action star. No, she's not. She doesn't carry a movie on her own back. Okay. Vin Diesel does.
Well, so you're looking
Vin
at
Diesel does XXX and
now you're
money.
Looking at it. Now, granted, we're talking females in general. There aren't that many that can carry a film. Not that many.
No, they are mostly supporting the lead, which is usually white or usually African American. Now, if I were to tell you right now, name 5 African American A-list stars, go for it. Go right now. Yeah,
you got Denzel Washington, Will Smith, David Oyelowo, Viola Davis.
Yeah, that was 4 right there. And now, what's this dude that's about to do Black Panther?
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, who did 42. So, yeah, that was right off the cuff. I can't do that. So it is hard for me, man, to feel like...
I was going to say, a lot of it also has to do with marketing. I think, you look, there is, I don't know if in the Latino community, but there's a lot of, let's just say, Black outlets out there, whether it be magazines or websites that help promote these individuals. And some of these individuals go out themselves, whether it's their social media pages, and they do things to put them in the spotlight, to be aware. So when you look at these actors out there, we know of Michelle Rodriguez, but she doesn't, she's not on her own, she's not going out on Twitter and doing things and so forth. And whether or not any of these Spanish outlets, magazines, TV, put a certain focus on these actors.
Don't even get me started with the Spanish language magazines. I have such a beef with them because they really only focus on Spanish language Latino actors who really have no crossover potential. And
because
it's extremely limiting. And it bothers me because the Latino today is all encompassing. They're not just belonging to one particular specific market that's very limited by language and very limited, by their scope. They're Latin Americans that are here in the United States, but most of them have visas, and it has to get renewed all the time. We're talking about U.S.-born Latinos, man, that have the mainstream capacity to attract white Americans, African Americans, and any type of American to go see their movies. Now, I'll tell you this, musically, dude, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, if they wanted to be actresses, they can probably carry a movie. But it's on and off, and, they prefer music more than movies or even TV. So, we're still stuck, man. We're still stuck. But let's talk about the best movies of 2017 so far, Wilson. I got my 5. I want to hear your 5 first.
I would say definitely, I'd throw it in there, Split.
Oh, that's exactly what I got. At number 5, I got Split. Okay, number 4.
Number 4, Beauty and the Beast.
What? Wow, bro. I've heard so many mixed feelings about that movie, but that's cool. You got a number 4. All right, what's your number 3?
Number 3, I will have The Big Sick.
Okay, all right. Number 2?
Number 2, I'll throw in there, it's kind of weak this year, I'll throw in there Spider-Man.
All right. And your number 1?
Get Out.
Okay. Here's my top 5. Okay. Best movies of 2017 so far. At number 5, I got Split by M. Night Shyamalan.
Hey, pardon me, sir. I think you have the wrong car.
At number 4, The Big Sick. It's that rom-com with Zoe Kazan.
Yes.
I have to tell you something, babe. I've been dating this girl. She's white.
A white girl? Hey, you can't look like you and you're a white girl. It's okay. We hate terrorists.
At number 3, Logan.
As I live and breathe, the Wolverine. I need the girl.
What girl?
And we're down.
She's like you. Very much like you.
At number 2, I can't believe you didn't even mention this movie, but whatever, Baby Driver.
So what is it you do?
I'm a driver.
Oh, like a chauffeur. Anyone I'd know?
I hope not.
What is your name?
Baby.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y, Baby.
And my number 1 is Get Out as well.
Do they know I'm black?
Should they?
You might wanna,
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
Those are my top 5. Why did you not include Baby Driver?
There was, Baby Driver is a good film. Don't get me wrong. Baby Driver is a good film. I think with Beauty and the Beast, because people will say, well, you're going to have your distractors on that one. Beauty and the Beast, it's, for those who did not catch it in 91 or have ever seen it, it still captures the same feeling. For those who saw it in 91 saying, okay, it's just basically the same thing. Just now live animated. Live action. Baby Driver is good. I kind of thought Drive was better from a couple of years ago.
True, but we're talking about the movies this year. We're not relating them to films from the past. This year through July, Baby Driver is, in the words of a friend of mine that I saw it with, he said that this is today's generation's Pulp Fiction. That's what he said.
Time will tell. The thing about Pulp Fiction is that you watched it. It didn't have the hype. Actually, Pulp Fiction did have the hype. But Pulp Fiction worked because of the script and because of the acting
and because of the director.
If anybody else directing this Baby Driver, because Edgar Wright had a lot to do with Baby Driver. And you put another director in there, you wonder if it gets the same fanfare. Edgar Wright has been like as one of these popular directors who could never get like a big blockbuster film. This is the film that is going to put him on another level.
Right.
It's going to give him a bigger script, and now you can tell producers, let me get more money to go bigger.
So let's go to Split at number 5, M. Night Shyamalan. We both picked it at number 5. Why do you think that this movie deserves a top 5 ranking?
Well, the funny thing, when the movie came out in January, people didn't have much to go with. M. Night Shyamalan hasn't had the best of films lately, actually for a long period of time. He started off great, obviously, with The Sixth Sense and had a few films afterwards that did well. Then it got to the point where it's like, fool me once, not fool me twice. You know what I'm saying? Where you now go walk, it got to the point where you walked into the film and you're like looking for the gimmick, and he gives it to you. So
The Visit was great, though, man. You got to give him at least that. The Visit was fantastic. If you guys haven't seen The Visit, it's about a mother who leaves her 2 kids with her grandparents, except that she never went to truly see her grandparents. She just sent them off. And when the kids get there, they find out that the grandparents aren't really the grandparents.
It started.
Great twist,
started
man.
the momentum. It started the momentum of bringing him back, but there was still that cautionary tale, which is why they released Split in January. Because usually January releases are like, okay, they're in the middle of the Oscar race. They're not expecting to make a lot of money. And James McAvoy did such a great job. He really did a good job in capturing the different personalities.
Right, 23 personalities is what the movie basically says. We don't see all 23 of them, but we do see enough personalities that this dude in this movie was like 7 actors.
And you haven't seen that.
No, you haven't seen that. And I think it's Jason McAvoy's probably best performance ever. It is definitely M. Night Shyamalan's, comeback movie to Hollywood. It's a statement movie. And what I like about this film is that it combines sci-fi and horror and suspense in an incredibly creepy way, man. And one of the really awesome things I like about this film is that and explain to me, Wilson, because sometimes I forget about this. Is it a prequel or a sequel to Unbreakable? Because right at the end, Bruce Willis comes out.
We don't know, and there's a talk that there's going to be a crossover between both films in his next project. So we don't know where it comes in before or after, so that's the intriguing thing about it. And that's why it continues to sell.
So at number 4, I have The Big Sick. Now, you had a chance to see the movie, correct?
Yes.
All right. What is so great about this film that everybody loves so much?
I think people want a story that they can relate to, especially.
It's a romantic comedy. Number one, what I like about it, I think more than anything, it's a multicultural film. It's an interracial relationship film that you don't see that often. I mean, Get Out is also an interracial relationship film, and it's in Indian, so you can actually have the Bollywood Indian American community relate to this a lot, where the Indian American is going out with a white girl, and that's I think the appeal of it, and the fact that it's a romantic comedy.
But that's the thing. I kind of called it My Big Fat Greek Wedding meets While You Were Sleeping.
That's a great analogy, man.
Think about it. So, you have ethnicity involved, in which the whole, you can't be with a white person and vice versa and so forth, which is almost a similar tale in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And, While You Were Sleeping, obviously, where Sandra Bullock tries to tell the family of the person who's been, in a coma and gets along with his family, which is the same situation in this guy.
Right. At number 3, I got Logan. Now, this is Hugh Jackman's last time playing Wolverine. He retired after this. The movie came out twice in the same year, one in color, and they re-released the film in black and white. Now, for most people that haven't seen Logan, it's Wolverine, but at his most serious. I think the last maybe 2-3 films that Hugh Jackman has done, we've seen the evolution of that wisecracking Wolverine to this very serious, very depressing almost to a certain extent Wolverine. And in Logan, it really captures more the Logan character than the Wolverine character. It's very much what Marvel did with Spider-Man, where it was really a Peter Parker film, man. It wasn't a Spider-Man film. And there was the finalizing arc about this, but it's a drama. The action here is secondary. Did you like Logan, and do you believe it is the best Wolverine appearance that Hugh Jackman has done?
It's the best Wolverine because it's a film, not a movie. When you look at the previous previous Wolverine films, they were movies. They were made for commercial appeal. And I guess this time James Mangold said, let's scrap it all again. Let's make a movie here. Let's make this serious. We don't want it to go out as a whimper. And you had the right story to tell with it. And, when you look at it, it's a slow burn. You're wondering where is this character going? That you don't need to, it's a standalone film that you don't really need to include the other members of the Marvel universe, to kind of help it out and so forth, like they've done with their other films. That this movie, between him and Patrick Stewart alone, because they've had that father-son relationship that has existed throughout the X-Men films, that this one's still alone. And I think for Jackman, hey, no other person has played more of a Marvel character besides Tony Robert Downey Jr. than him.
Who do you think can play Wolverine after Hugh Jackman?
I think every other actor would be hesitant to play that role because Hugh Jackman's played it for nearly 20 years. That who's going to want to step in his shoes?
Right.
Good role to play, but it's those are the roles that's tough. Which is why you don't get guys playing James Bond so often.
Right. By the way, Daniel Craig just renewed his contract to play one more James Bond 25. Adele's coming back. Because it's giving him most of the money. He doesn't make as much money when he doesn't do James Bond. Yeah, no, totally. And at number 2, I got Baby Driver. We already talked about it briefly. And at number 1, we got Get Out. Why? By the way, I'm not the only one. You're not the only one that says Get Out is the best film of the year so far. Many critics have already put out their list, and they have Get Out at number 1. Is it the real deal, and does it have any Oscar contendership?
We spoke not just a few minutes ago, and I'm thinking back now, only a few minutes later, I go, it has potential. I think, when you think about it, a film that's resonating with audiences. People go in this movie thinking it's just going to be a thriller by Jordan Peele, who no one really knew because not everybody really knew his work on
This is Jordan Peele's first film out the gate. It's his debut. It's insane.
And it's racked up record after record after record. It's the highest grossing original film for a debut at $250 million, surpassing the Blair Witch Project. As a black director, he's the first one to make $100 million on his first film out the gate. You look at his leads. Let's go out to girls. No one knows who Allison Williams is. And Daniel Kaluuya, if I'm even pronouncing his last name correctly, unless you saw him in Black Mirror in one episode or in Sicario, you don't know who he is. So these were fresh faces. And so that audience going in there, looking at this movie and paying attention to the story because they're not paying attention to the actors.
It's all about the story. There is no superstar A-list actor here. There's not even B actors here. These are novices to a certain extent, unknown actors. And I think that for those of you who hasn't Get Out yet, you need to do yourself a favor and sit down this weekend and check out Get Out. It's a psychological horror movie where it becomes gory towards the end. But I think that the main appeal, the principal attraction of this film is that it is a socially conscious film. It is clever. It is witty. It tackles racism. It tackles culture. And you don't know how to deal with it at first. You're like, what is going on and how should I feel? I think that was like the main thing that the reaction in me, and I think many people, is most of us didn't know how to feel.
Yeah, people walked out of that movie and they were like, what did we just see? And it's exciting. It's one of the rare movies where you can actually talk to the screen, as people did, and still feel good about it. The numbers say it all, and I think when you talk about Oscar, I think screenplay should be a definite, that's the one. I think, we still got a lot of time left before we start talking top 10. But right now, if you're looking at the first half of the year, if we both have it as number one, then it's in there. So it's
this is it. This is the movie.
So it's a matter of whether or not people will take it. Look, at the end of the day, you want this movie to go to the dance. You want it to be recognized because a lot of times, any movie prior to July doesn't get recognized Oscar time. There's only been a few, So you want this movie and Jordan to go to the Oscars so that people can recognize, hey, this was one of the best movies that came out this year. It may not be, who knows, by the time we hit next February, be anyone's top 5. But at least you want to recognize that, hey, this is a film that captured audiences from the beginning towards end. The fact that it's still at 99% Rotten Tomatoes with the exception of one reviewer. Jesus. It's like, and that's a rarity.
That is a rarity. Wilson, thank you so much for being on the Highly Relevant podcast. You can check out Wilson Morales and all the coverage he does in the Hollywood industry on blackfilm.com. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot.
It's time for JackedIN. Let's begin with the top movie news of the week. Daniel Craig will return as James Bond in Bond 25. There will be a Mamma Mia sequel. The new Scarface remake starring Diego Luna has lost its director, and Peruvian Ricardo de Montreal from Lowriders could be in the running. Spanish director Jaume Collet Serra is the top choice to direct the Suicide Squad sequel. Quentin Tarantino is developing a film about the Manson family murders, and Jennifer Lawrence and Brad Pitt are in discussions to star. And Disney is struggling to find stars for its live-action remake of Aladdin. More about that next week. In TV news, Emmy nominations are in. HBO's Westworld and NBC's Saturday Night Live tied for the most nominations, earning 22 nods each. Stranger Things Season 2 will be released on Netflix October 27th. Netflix orders Elite, its second original show from Spain. Former Today Show host Tamron Hall is co-creating a new daytime talk show with Weinstein TV that will be a blend of current events, human interest stories, and in-depth interviews with celebrities and other influencers. Megyn Kelly's new morning show on Today will debut September 25th at 9 in the morning and will feature a live studio audience. Fox News beat Shazam with host Jamie Foxx. The Weather Channel will be using augmented reality for its coverage of the solar eclipse on August 21st, and Game of Thrones starts this Sunday, July 16th. Switching over to music, Daddy Yankee is the first Latino artist to take the #1 slot on Spotify with 44 million monthly listeners. Selena Gomez teases her new sexy song, Fetish. Demi Lovato has a very R-rated new song titled Sorry Not Sorry. Acclaimed Colombian band Bomba Estéreo to open Arcade Fire shows in the United States and South America, and Chino Miranda becomes the second Latin ambassador for the Men's New York Fashion Week. And in digital and social media news, Apple is adding 3D lasers to the next iPhone. Facebook is going to start serving ads in Messenger all around the world. Blocked Twitter users are suing President Trump. Over in the UK, Google is funding a new software project to automate the work of journalists in local news outlets. CNN's mobile app is receiving 1-star reviews from hundreds of users. Oculus is planning a $200 standalone wireless VR headset for 2018, and Time Inc. is planning on changing its company name to Life. I had a chance to sit with American-Honduran actor Gabriel Chavarria. The first time I had seen this guy was in this year's Lowriders, and the dude had star quality written all over him. And now he's in the new War for the Planet of the Apes, so you can imagine his rise in Hollywood's been pretty quick. He plays Preacher in the film, and we had a pretty candid interview about the Hollywood business, the negative aspects of auditioning, and why there are still no A-list Latino actors in Hollywood. So you're here promoting War for the Planet of the Apes. How's it going so far?
It's been great. You know, the reviews are crazy. Everyone's loving it. Everyone who's seen the movie already, like, you know, and everyone who hasn't seen it are super excited.
It's probably one of the best of the franchise.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Arguably, right? Yeah.
So absolutely.
It's a very emotional movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are going to, you know, they're going to take away, they're going to have an experience throughout this film, I feel like. You know what I mean?
You're him. You're Caesar. We've been searching for you for so long. We heard you had a hidden command base, but we could never find it. Some of us started to think that you might be dead.
I did not start this war.
Is this your first blockbuster film, you would say?
Yeah, this is definitely the first. Yeah, 100%.
How do you feel about that? I mean, is that like graduating from the minor league to the major leagues?
It's great, man. I mean, you know, it's something that, like, you know, it's a little surreal for sure. It's definitely surreal, but it's something that, like, you know, as an actor, you know, you it's what you work hard for. You know what I mean? You work hard to get these opportunities and to.
This is your all-star game.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You had a good season, and you get put into the all-star game. So it means you did good. Your stats are good. But no, it's exciting, man. It's really exciting because it's like, you know, it doesn't get any bigger than this, right? So,
absolutely. I mean, unless you're in the Avengers, you know,
right,
which you might be in a couple of years. You never know.
Yeah.
So has this experience been like for you? And I don't want to talk about professionally. What's the experience been for you, like, personally and emotionally? You mentioned the word surreal.
Yeah.
Do you feel that at this moment you're living like the dream, like the American dream? Is this the pinnacle of it all?
I would say so, man. Honestly, I mean,
what does your family think? What do your friends think when you heard, holy shit?
Yeah,
I just got cast in War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah, I mean that definitely was like, I had a moment. You know, I almost cried. Like, I was about to cry. I think I did cry. Now that I think about it, I got the call. You know, and it's like.
And why? Why did you feel like that? Why did you feel like you cried? Like,
I think more it's because it's like, you know, it's you know, being in this industry for so long, at least for me, I've been doing this for 10, 11 years now, over 10 years.
So you feel like a veteran already?
I guess so, right? I mean, I feel like you know, I know the business, I understand the business, and you know, it was like one of those things where it's like, man, like, you know, it's a tough industry. It's not easy, you know. It's a hard thing. It's hard to be let alone be a working actor, you know, and then a successful actor, right? So,
and you know this because your friends probably are gigging just like you, and they can't seem to get gigs, right?
Right, 100%. So it was one of those things. It was like, man, like all the sacrifices, all the hard work, everything kind of just like, it just starts to make sense, and it feels good. It's like you're doing the right thing.
What were some of the struggles that you felt were sacrifices you had to do in order to get to this moment?
Damn, that's a good one. A lot of things, man. Like, I was telling my brother the other day, like, we had a conversation about how, like, about sacrifice. And I told him, I was like, you know, I remember after high school, like, all my buddies, you know, they all had nice cars and they all had 9-to-5 jobs and they worked hard and they, you know, they had, like, you know, some of them had their own apartments and stuff. And, you know, I wanted those things, you know, but I I knew that like my job was being an actor that's not an easy thing to provide, right?
Absolutely.
Like you can't. It's hard. You're lucky to get work, but so I made sacrifices as far as like I knew that I couldn't have the nice car, so I would like I had to get a bucket, literally a bucket, right? So. And then I couldn't have my own spot. I couldn't take the nice girl out to my own spot because I didn't have my own spot. So I would stay with my brothers who, they've supported me since the beginning. So I'd couch surf for like forever, and but that was my personal, commitment to what I was trying to accomplish. And when these things happen, it's like it's living proof of like when you're sure about something and you want to do something, you're gonna do whatever it takes to do it. And when it happens, it's the best feeling in the fucking world.
Did you ever waffle on that? Did you ever waffle on, you know what? If I don't get this gig today, I'm quitting this thing.
Oh,
Screw
yeah.
it.
Oh, 100%. And I give credit to my manager, Mike Baldridge. He dug me out of a hole. Like I quit acting. I think.
What?
Yeah. Not a lot of people know this story, so this is a great story.
Okay.
I quit acting when I think it was in 2000 I don't know, maybe like a few years back, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
But Mike, he was like, Gabe, no, like you're almost there. Like you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. This is the game. This is how it works. This is the way the industry is. You can't take things, personal. And for me, that was probably the biggest lesson in my career was realizing and accepting that, I can't control certain things, right? You can't control a lot of things, but the only thing that I can control is my work ethic and my commitment to what I'm trying to accomplish, right? And that was it. It was an eye-opening experience because I wanted something so bad and I thought it was mine, and at the very last minute, it wasn't.
So how did you deal with rejection?
Rejection. Rejection is it's a big part of it, right? It's a big part of being an actor.
You walk into a
room, and they're like,
you think you nailed it.
Yeah, and it's like, no, all
right,
the next guy, right? It took a while to be able to be immune to that, for me, because I'm so
stings at first.
A little, of course it does, right? Especially for me, because I'm so competitive. I come from a sports background. Like I was gonna play professional soccer, so and I take that with me into acting. And when getting rejected it's like losing a game. You lost today, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like,
but you got another game.
Yeah, you got another game coming up. So how do you bounce back,
exactly.
right? How do you bounce back from that? And I think the biggest thing is you learn, man. You continue to learn and you continue to grow from everything that you experience, right? And without losses, without failures, you don't learn or anything about yourself. You won't get to grow. So that's for me it was always like I was always looking forward to like, all right, what am I going to learn today? Or what am I, what's going to be different about today? So, and I carried with that, and I still carry that with me.
So a little while ago, you said that there's some things that are out of your control. Was one of those things out of your control the fact that as a Latino actor trying to make it in this white Hollywood business, was that something where you just didn't like maybe the roles that you were being offered or roles?
100%. Yeah. This is funny because like going back to East Los High, because East Los High was the first all Hispanic cast it was the first show with the all Hispanic cast for the English language.
Yeah, I remember. It was brand new. Everybody was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, what is this? And mind you, I said that when I read the breakdown for the project.
You're like, what?
I was like, what the hell is this? Like, are you kidding? Like, this is I'm looking at the roles. I'm like, Hispanic, and I'm looking at lead. I'm like,
wow.
What? This is golden. Like this. What is this?
Yeah, this is new.
Yeah, this is new. So I remember telling my team, like, yo, I need to be a part of this project. Like, I need to be a part of this. Like, somehow, some way, put me in. Like, I got to go in for this, because at that time, there weren't really finding too many Hispanic leads in TV or film.
Dude,
right?
There barely are any now.
Right, exactly. So yeah, it's true. It is what it is. And prior to that, I was doing the thug roles. I did, play the suspect, and
that's the entry level stuff.
Right?
Yeah, that's the stuff you do right at the beginning.
Yeah, so I knew that there was a golden opportunity, and I always believed in myself. Right, I always believed in my skills. I always believed in the experiences that I've had, like that I can. I want to be, and I want more. I want to be a star. I want to be a lead of something, or part of something. Bigger than just getting shot at, you know, and then like dying in the first episode. You know what I'm saying? So
the opening scene,
right? Exactly. You don't even make it to the next scene. You'd be lucky if you get a flashback. So, but yeah, man, like, you know, I went through that, like, and we all have, right? A lot of actors, Latino actors, that have gone through that. So, and you know, even with Apes, like, I'm Latino, right? And
Are you the only Latino in the movie in terms of on-screen actor?
I believe so. I think so. Oh, Mercedes, she's Latina. She was half Latina, if I'm not mistaken. She played one of the soldiers when we were. This is coming out after, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So when we were captured, she's like right next to me. She's
okay.
She's the one saying like. She said something to the other guy.
Is that still odd for you that you walk in and you're like the only Latino dude in the movie?
No.
You're immune to that now.
No, I don't. It doesn't feel that way at all. For me, it's like I felt like I belonged.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So
like,
you didn't feel like, okay, I'm like the new guy here. And,
no.
You know, there's Andy Serkis and there's.
No, I mean, I had like my little moments for sure, but
right.
But again, because I'm so competitive, it's like here's the stage. Here's the ball.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Right. It's gonna make you or break you. It's your opportunity. Right. It's like, what are you gonna do? You better show up, or, you know.
So what has given you the character to be that confident?
For me personally, is God. Like, I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus, and I've experienced things in my life that have always. I could only point to one thing that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And it was always, for me, it's always been the man upstairs. So when I'm doing what I'm doing, you know, again, and I'm lucky, man. I'm lucky and I'm blessed, and I thank him for everything, right? I thank him for everything, every opportunity. And I know that from the moment that I was exposed to this industry, like just that story in itself, like this was what I was meant to do. And I had to, it took me a long time to accept that. Like, it took me a while, because I was trying to still play ball, you know, and I was doing other stuff. I was like, you know, just being a regular teenager, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I partied and did all the fun stuff, right? Like everybody else does.
Yeah, you got that out of your system.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I knew, I was like, man, like I have something. God put something in my life for a reason.
You were aware of it.
Yeah. I was definitely aware of it. And that's what that's what I take with me. It's like, I'm here to serve, right? I'm here to serve, and this is what he put in me, and I'm just showcasing the skill and the talent that he has provided for me, you know.
Changing gears for a second, one of my favorite roles that you've done so far is Lowriders.
Oh yeah, baby, Danny boy,
dude. It's a movie that to me spoke about the evolution of the Latin American Hispanic, which is the U.S. Latino. Mm-hmm. The trailer, there was a trailer that I saw where you said, actually, I think it might have been the opening scene of Lowriders, where you're like, you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You live in L.A. You know, you're not Mexican from Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Never been to Mexico.
Right? Mexican American, you know, in the movie.
Me and my homies, we've never been to Mexico. And no, our Spanish ain't perfect.
When I saw that, it was one of the few times, man, that I felt that there was a movie that really, truly captured the essence of the U.S. Latino. Mm-hmm. Because you have Latinos knocking U.S. Latinos, Latinos born in the United States. It's like, you're not really a Latino, man.
Yeah.
Have you gotten that at any point? Like, has somebody challenged your Latin heritage?
I wouldn't say challenge my Latin heritage. No, not me personally, but I've been around people that like have. And it's like, and that the cool thing about Lowriders, about that film, because I related a lot to especially Danny's character, because I was born here in LA. I was born and raised in LA, and my Spanish isn't perfect. Like, I can speak Spanish, but that's not my first language.
And nobody knocks you on that.
No, not really, because everybody that I grew up around with were the same as me. It's funny because I like to tell my friends, like, I'm not Latin American. I'm American Latino. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm an American Latino. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think I'm a Latino American, it's
you're
like,
American first,
right?
Latino
and then I'm
second.
Latino second. Like, because I was born. This country gave me everything. Everything that I know, everything that I am is American, right?
Absolutely.
And of course, I know where I come from. My parents are from Honduras. Like, I know my roots, right? I've been to Honduras. So yeah, I mean, and lowriders, the character Danny, he's a kid that is, he was born here. He's never been to Mexico. He doesn't speak the language. He doesn't speak Spanish. So there's a lot of kids out there that are like that.
Dude,
and it's
a movie for today's Hispanic.
For today's Hispanic, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And to be a part of that for me was a big deal because I was like, man, I can relate to this so much, and it's it's the first, hopefully the first of many films like that, or you know what I mean, to serve the American Latino.
Why do you think that in 2017 we still don't have an A-list Latino actor, a Latino star, a superstar?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why has it taken it so long?
Because they haven't given me the role yet.
No, so you're one of the new crop of actors that has the potential to be that guy. But why do you think this moment we still haven't had it?
I don't know. I feel like now the industry has finally taken notice of the Latino community, and we're the majority, man. We go watch the movies. We're the big numbers, you know what I mean? And we don't see ourselves in a lot of stuff that's out there. You know what I'm saying? So now they're finally, why did it take so long? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why it took so long, but like, again, even with Apes, with Preacher's role, like it could have been anybody else.
Yeah.
It could have been white, could have been black, could have been popular, it could have been, big star. I don't know. Right. So, I don't know. I feel like we as Latinos, especially actors and entertainers, writers, directors, whatever it is, we have to showcase. We gotta show. And if there's opportunities out there, we just gotta go out there and show and capitalize on them, right? So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, for me, at least for me, like that doesn't stop me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't stop me. It never had. Like, I just knew that I love this business. I love this town. I love Hollywood. I love acting. I'll do it on any scale for the right project, for the passion behind it that I have for it is what drives me. So yeah, man, I don't know. I just one of those things where like there's a lot of Latino talent out there, dude. Like there's a lot, and
they're unknown.
But
they got the skills.
They have the skills.
They could be stars tomorrow.
Right. So I think honestly, it's just a matter of time now.
You're right.
It's a matter of time. We got shows like, again, this is why East Los High was so important, because it was a great opportunity to showcase Latino talent.
Why do you think East Los High didn't make it to network, to Netflix, to broadcast, to cable?
I don't know, man. That's already on the business side of things. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like, it got canceled now, right?
I don't know. Yeah, it got canceled from Hulu, which is strange. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly, because it's like, I don't know, man. Because Hulu's a great platform, and I'm happy that we were able to work with them, and they were really, really good with us with the show. They allowed us to do a lot of we pushed the envelope on a lot of issues in the show.
Absolutely.
A lot of so, but you're starting to see that on on regular stuff, on regular TV and regular stuff. So I don't know, man. I feel like, I mean, honestly, there's still a lot more room for East Los High. We can continue the stories for sure.
Yeah, the college edition.
Yeah, the college edition. Yeah, I mean, there's
like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, exactly. You got the older generation, the new generation. So there's a lot more life for East Los High.
Before we wrap up, how are you preparing for the release of War for the Planet of the Apes? Did you rent out a movie theater to have all your family and friends?
We've talked about it. We got a group text with my brothers, and they're like, "Yo, where are we gonna go see it at? When are you coming back from New York? Like, where are we gonna do this?" Like,
all right, so you're already getting all the fanfare already.
Yeah, we're already getting it hyped up. I'm actually, what I want to do too, and I've never done this. I don't know, maybe it'll be too out of control, but I kind of want to get fans to come out. Like, I'll watch it with fans.
That's
and
dope.
just to have that experience. You know what I mean?
So well, you'd be separating yourself from the rest of the actors who don't do that. Seriously,
I think it'd be cool, right? I think it'd be cool, man.
Absolutely, dude. They will love you for it.
I just hope that it doesn't get too crazy, you know, like especially in LA.
Yeah, and then it hits like it hits the 6 o'clock news. It's like, well, you know, Gabriel Chavarria's theater screening of.
I think I'm gonna do that, Jack. I really think I'm gonna do that because I missed it on Lowriders.
That's right.
But then again, Lowriders, you know, was a new film like with Apes. Everyone's gonna go see Apes. It's already
this is a global thing. Dude.
Yeah, it's an iconic franchise.
The last movie did over $700 million.
Yeah,
they're saying this one's better. It might actually might clip $1 billion. What does that mean for you as an actor and your career? Are you already making plans? I mean, have you been called by agents? It's like, all right, dude, you're the it actor now. What's been the talk, the buzz about you right now?
I don't know. I don't know, Jack. Honestly, man, I don't know, man.
You're just taking it in.
I'm just taking it in. You know, I try to take it day by day and just, you know, just soak it all in, you know, 1 second at a time because, you know, this is Hollywood, man. And it's you know,
it's here today. It's gone tomorrow.
It's gone tomorrow, you know. So that for me, I just want to soak it all in and take it day by day for sure.
Gabriel, thanks for being on the Highly Relevant Podcast.
Pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Before we move on to our next segment, here are some new songs you might want to add to your playlist this weekend.
Cuando tú quieras me llamas, tú me llamas, soy el que te dio amor y el que te lo da hoy.
Me Llamas, Piso 21, featuring Maluma.
Tú me llamas, soy el que te dio amor y el que te lo da hoy. Baby, I'm sorry. Baby, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Not Sorry, Demi Lovato.
Got me feeling so good, showing you up like I know that I would. ¿Y qué tengo que hacer para que te entiendas que yo me vuelvo loco por un beso de tu boca?
Por un beso de tu boca, Silvestre Dangond. A lot going on in sports this week. You got the ESPY'S that happened this week. You got the Home Run Derby, and Aaron Judge probably consolidated himself as the face of baseball at the moment. The All-Star Game, which was kind of boring, but Robinson Cano, a Dominicano, won it in the 10th inning in extra innings, which was the first time since 2008 that happened. The Gold Cup is happening, and if you guys don't know what the Gold Cup is, it's North America's men's soccer national team tournament. And outside of that, there's the new rumor that just came out that Carmelo Anthony is being traded to the Rockets. So to talk about this and to help me kind of break everything down, I got via Skype Cristian Moreno. He's a bilingual sports journalist on ESPN, co-host of The Locker Room on 1050 ESPN here in New York City. And he also hosts his own sports podcast called Unfiltered Sports Talk is Christian. I was just on it a few weeks ago, and man, that was a lot of fun. Welcome to the Highly Relevant Podcast, Christian.
Well, it's my honor to be here, man. Indeed. Wow, it's really something. Much respect, man. You really rocked it. It felt like a takeover. I mean, don't even undersell yourself.
Look, dude, I'll be honest with you.
I shied away in that.
I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to be like a 10, 20-minute convo, and I looked up, and somebody was knocking on the doors. My phone was ringing. I was like, why is everybody? And then I looked at the time. We had been talking for an hour and 22 minutes. Time just flew by. I didn't even notice.
Well, I talk a lot, and like, thank God. I will say, even though I talk so much, thank God that I have what we call in Spanish labia. Because with all
mucha parla.
That's the Colombian way.
Parla
nice.
Is the Colombian way.
Yeah.
Labia has more of a sexual connotation in other languages.
True. If I would not have that with all I talk, oh my God, I would do so bad with ladies.
Christian, so let's begin immediately with what's going on with this Carmelo Anthony trade. What do you know about this? I hear that the Rockets and Knicks are sort of negotiating. It's like a 14. What's going on?
All we know so far is that he would be landing in Houston to play with his buddy Chris Paul. So far, he
and
pretty
James
much
Harden.
Yeah. So what this has to do, and why I mentioned Chris Paul, is because
they're best
he
friends.
said it. Yeah, he was very straightforward. He was like, I will go to play either to Houston
or to Cleveland
with Chris Paul or to Cleveland with LeBron. That's all I want. So that's the why he would go to Houston, as is the viable one to this.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, this would add a piece that would put Houston in big perspective. It would give them like that extra push, because now you additionally have a clean scorer that would create space as well. And Carmelo would be the most lethal version of him, because for the first time, he could actually be in a team in which the only thing he would be asked to do would be score and, if any, play defense at some degree, which he has never done in his life.
Right. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the home run derby. Man. Aaron Judge. Yeah. Dude, this has been the talk of the week, this home run derby. Now, I have not been watching baseball for years. Why? Look, I think part of it is that I just, with age, as you grow, the interest in baseball started waning with me. I just started getting... I was more attracted to basketball. It was more exciting. The game felt slower. There weren't many superstars like I used to see back in the day. I mean, I felt like in the 80s, it was like one of the glory times in modern baseball. Everybody felt like a superstar. Then the steroid era obviously was an electric moment in baseball. And then it kind of just went through the dark ages. And that's when I kind of just disconnected. But now there's this new crop of players that have made baseball so exciting again. And probably the face of it is Aaron Judge. The man won the home run derby. Are you ready to put Aaron Judge as the face of baseball over Mike Trout, over Kershaw, over anybody else?
I'm not ready to say that, he's going to be the king of the world, because it would be too preposterous at this point. He's had a good half, an awesome one. He just put the record over DiMaggio for most homers for a rookie. Yes, perfect. Now, can we actually say that he's going to be the king of the world? No, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to actually have to recur to actually, you know what? Let's give it time. He's very big. We've seen how very short time in regards of a career big guys can have. He's 6'6", almost 300 pounds. So it's very, very, very accelerated. If we were to say that he's going to rule the world, maybe he will.
This dude is the LeBron James of baseball. He has almost the same type of body type, man. I mean, he could have played football any day. And the fact that he chose baseball, he's like a giant amongst men. He's insane to look at. I haven't been to a Yankee game yet because, again, I've just been turned off by baseball. But this new crop of players has really sort of excited me again. Like I think I want to go to the stadium to see baseball again. Quickly, before we wrap up, the All-Star game, once again, it turned out to be boring, which is one of the reasons I don't watch the All-Star game and I don't watch baseball on TV. I just cannot give anyone 3 hours of my time anymore. There's just too much going on in my life. 3 hours doesn't fit in most people's lives anymore. And so where do you think the state of the game is right now? Do you think everybody's going to come back because of these young electric players? Or are we still going to see a decline in audience at the stadiums, a decline in merchandise appeal, and a decline in the sport overall?
Let me divide it in three. Like, one would be, you could dedicate 3 hours perfectly if Tom Brady is actually facing Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl, and you wouldn't feel it. Would you?
Well, it's 16 weeks. I mean, we're talking about 16, 17, 18 weeks overall, right?
But it happens to be entertaining to see the guy. He's an entertainer, and, it actually comes along.
And the games aren't that long. There's no extra innings, that go into the 19th inning. There's cutoff points here.
But they last almost around 3 hours. It's just that the value time you get is so much easier to actually digest.
But at least it's exciting, Cristian. Baseball is boring. In today's era, baseball is boring.
No,
it's waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm going to change the pitcher now, and now I'm going to like trot the damn bases, and the other guys are getting gnats in the outfield because in the sun, and it's too much, man.
You're talking to a baseball junkie, and I'll tell you this: I drink coffee once a day by standards, 6 a.m. Now that norm was broken all 3 days of the quote-unquote All-Star Week. It was too much. I had to drink coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm a very hyped up person all the time, and still, it's very difficult when you present an All-Star game, which lacks the presence of legit stars. They have a bunch of guys that if they walk out on the street, unless you're a hardcore fan, you will not know. There is many ways, and I think that the solution to your question is actually going to be answered at the moment they actually take the stance of creating stars, of promoting diversity, and, of course, of wanting to live in 2017 and not 1945.
Yeah, it's way too traditional.
I cannot fathom, and tell me if I'm wrong, Lil Jon, Jamie Foxx, and Pitbull were the top 3 celebs that they actually pulled off for the whole event.
Yeah,
if
Miami
that
lovers.
Is the best you're willing to offer in 2017.
You know, you should be having Super Bowl halftime like shows at the All-Star game, but no one gives.
But no one cares about going because that's the thing. I mean,
no one cares, man. No one. Maybe the young kids, maybe, and you know, but
if you wanted to make a splash, you could have had Jay-Z actually make it here.
I bet you they asked him, and I bet you he said no.
Yeah, because he doesn't care.
But but Cristian, finally, the Gold Cup. For those of you who don't know what the Gold Cup is, it is where all the North American soccer teams, national soccer teams, get together, and it's the men's national soccer teams get together for a tournament that happens here in the United States. Is there any interest in watching this? Because I'm a huge soccer fan, but when you start putting out the bench on the national teams to play, you're basically watching the under-21 teams get some playing time while the big stars are sitting down. Is there any interest to see the Gold Cup, and can they improve upon it by actually putting the stars in at some point?
Not in this edition, and it's the problem with that tournament, and it's precisely that one of the 2 editions that the Cup actually has is always going to be handicapped because they're going to be coming from playing that Confederations Cup. So they're going to be playing like Mexico is with their B team.
Yeah, and it's a problem for Univision. It's a problem for Fox Sports, where, from what I've been reading, the ratings have been very low. But they've been giving it top coverage, and nobody's tuning in. Nobody wants to tune in because, again, you know, it's like you don't have the time to see the bench play.
Let me put it this way, and I'm going to hurt feelings, but it's okay. It's the truth. If it's with the truth, you can't get hurt. Mexico is playing with their B team, and Mexico is not by any means a top power in soccer. They've never been. They've just been portrayed so.
I think they're a great rival. I think they're not an easy out.
Yeah, but they're not the team.
No, they're not the team.
Even though they're portrayed like that, which is the biggest problem why a lot of people create rejection towards them. So, if they're still favored to win this cup, playing with their B team, and they're not even a great team, that does not stand well if you're a network as far as what you're going to get in results. So, you're always going to have a handicap when one of the 2 cups that actually matters for the Confederation classified, which that puts you, okay, let's wait for the 2019. In that one, they're going to play all out. So, yeah, let's wait for that one. Okay, what happens to the other one? So it's one of those things where I don't want to say it's a worthless cup because at the end of the day, it's a professional event. And
no, man. Once you're putting in the bench, you're basically tanking the tournament. You're tanking the tournament. You're allowing. I'm not going to pay $150 to go watch the bench play, man. Come on.
No one should. And indeed. And again, that's a tough part. And again, I think that just to make things as frank as they can, wow, anytime that you can actually say that you're going to play with your B team and you're still going to be the odds-on easy favorite against all others that are playing at most with their team, wow, I think that says very bad stuff in regards to the tournament.
Unless you're Germany, because their B team is like an A team, all-star, world-class. I mean, they won the Confederations Cup with the top A-list stars.
The problem with Mexico is that they believe they are, but they are not A team. So it's like,
my Mexican listeners are gonna hate you, Christian. They're gonna send me hate tweets, dude. In the middle of the night, you're gonna be getting notifications on your DM. He goes,
more than likely.
Hey, Mexican basher.
No. Hey, I have a lot of Mexican women I love, like Jimena Sanchez. Oh my
God, you're really like
Barlin Favela.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hey, I have my sweeties. So yeah, much love for Mexico. I'm helping myself back in.
Cristian Moreno, co-host of the Locker Room 1050 ESPN here in New York. Also check out his podcast. Really cool. It's Unfiltered Sports Talk. He's Christian. Christian, thanks a lot for being on the Highly Relevant Podcast, my man.
Thank you. And remember, you can follow me at Christian Moreno D. And by the time you're hearing this, I will also have in parallel Vladimir Guerrero and Hugo Balta as my guest for this week.
Love Hugo Balta. And Vladimir Guerrero, go for it, man. Great baseball player.
He said great things about you, man.
Oh, I love Hugo. Hugo's the man. He's for those of you who know Hugo Balta is the man in charge of Latin content over at ESPN. So kudos to him. Say hi to him for me if you can.
I will be doing so. Thank you so much, Jack.
That's it for episode 40 of the Highly Relevant Podcast. I'd like to thank Wilson Morales from blackfilm.com, Gabriel Chavarria from War for the Planet of the Apes, and ESPN's Cristian Moreno for passing by on the show. And thank you guys for taking time out to listen from your favorite streaming platform wherever you may be. If you like this US Latino podcast, please share it on your social media apps, tell your friends all about it, and if you can, have them subscribe to the show. Depends on you guys to help us get the word out. Hope you enjoy your weekend and stay connected with us via showbizcafe.com. See you next week on another episode of